realtalk.com. Glad to be here with you for another kickoff to a great Saturday morning with Tego and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. You can pick up the phone and dial them direct, 448-8888. That's 448-8888, or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. They're leading real estate agents here in the state, and glad to have him here on board. And welcome KRSN 1490 Los Alamos, as well as 107.1 Santa Fe, the highest income demographic in the entire country, if you can believe it. And happy to have both Tego and Tracy on board, marketing and merchandising your property. Tego, Tracy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. And well, I got to congratulate you on getting.
To bring you up. Sorry, Tego.
See,
there we go. I had you down, and now I brought you back up.
Well, I was over here cheering for you, getting your northern New Mexico.
That was awesome.
up
Congrats,
and running.
Eddie.
So that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, 1.3 million is the new pop count for the coverage of our signals, plural now. So that's pretty exciting. And
yeah,
very.
Opportunity is good, and the average price for a home, if you can believe it, in Los Alamos is, according to one segment, I'll compare it and keep it the same, $318,000. In Santa Fe, nearly $400,000, the median price for a home. And I know that the overall price for a home as the last 90 days was like $540,000, $550,000. Pretty amazing in terms of those demos. A lot of people flocking and loving the life that we live here in the state of New Mexico. And I know you've been fielding your share of phone calls that have been coming in from California, New York, Illinois, people from coming in from out of town because they love New Mexico just like we do.
Yeah, no, and there was some numbers that just came out for the fourth quarter, which we're going to go over. There's price appreciation, and I just started looking here to see if Santa Fe, but it doesn't look like it, does it, Tracy?
No.
Nope. Santa Cruz, Santa Maria, Santa Rosa.
Probably not big enough.
No, yeah, we're not big enough, but we do have Albuquerque, and we'll be talking about that. Good morning, everybody. And this is which show number is this, Tracy? We were just talking about this. 357 for Albuquerque Real Estate Talk. Imagine, how many shows have you done, Eddie? Come on.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, 357 real estate shows is pretty awesome. We appreciate you supporting the radio station. And as always, we love your real estate expertise because I don't know that we've ever need more expertise than we do right now. This is one of those times where there's a shortage of product out there on the market. And I have to imagine, I'm glad I'm not in your shoes because you have to navigate a very difficult market for a lot of people who are trying to sort of dip their toe in the water once again. And people are sort of unsure. And I know that you're trying to reassure them because you're always making those data-driven decisions.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and we're going to talk about just some of the things we have today. There were some interesting headlines this week. We'll hit on that in the real estate world. I've got this great story, Tracy. I want to talk about is tax breaks for home ownership, 7 tax breaks for home ownership, which kind of timely. Tracy, what do you have on your agenda?
So I actually wanted to spotlight one part of town, which we do sometimes, and I'm spotlighting the Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary School neighborhood area, which we'll talk about stats there in a little bit.
Great.
And we have some homes of the week in addition to quite a few open houses.
New homes on the market, that's a big deal these days. It's interesting. We're actually, folks on our team that are working with buyers are getting like a live feed every new home that comes on the market just to keep an eye on what's coming on the market because it's very limited. There's a lot of buyers out there waiting for the right home to come on the market. That's just the market we're in right now.
It reminds me, Tego, of like 2006, 2007 when all day I was updating looking for a new home to come on the market because we had to get in it like within hours.
Well, and the tech back then was not quite where we are now.
No, not like now we can get automatic notifications.
Yeah, we weren't getting push notifications on our device and all that fun stuff and Slack and so on. It's an interesting time. A little scary when you say it, just like 2006-07, but
very different.
It's very different. Yeah, just so you know.
So if there's something you want us to talk about in the future on other shows or any questions you have, you can reach us at 448-8888, and we'd be happy to help you out.
So Tracy, just a couple headlines real quick. Let's just run through in the real estate world. This is more national real estate news. Interest rates, if you're paying attention, rates have pushed
They've
up
inched
a
up.
little bit,
Yep.
3-ish. We were at 2.75 for a lot of people. People were getting 2.5, but they're closer to 3 now, maybe a little over 3. That always just depends on your credit, your down payment, all that stuff.
Type
right?
of loan.
Yeah. But so interest rates pushed up, which is funny. Interest rates are up. They're at 3% now, which is kind of funny. And I found this chart, Tracy, that I showed you, and it showed interest rates by decade, and it's pretty interesting. And if you go back to the 70s, average interest rate was right around 9%. And then if you go to the 80s, it was around 12, almost 13%.
That was the average, but it peaked some of the, like 19, 20%.
Yeah.
So the average,
And then in the 90s, it was about 8%. It was about 6% during the 2000s, the teens, I guess they'd say. And then not the teens, not the teens, the tens. And then
the 2000 to 2010.
Right. And then in the 2010 to 2019, around 4%. Remember that? We were like, wow, this is amazing. We'll never see this low interest rates again. Well, here we are, and so far this decade, it's only 2 years and 3 months in, or 2 months in, we're right around 3%.
Right.
So, if you look at it from a historical perspective, I mean, it's still amazing.
And what that does, Tego, is it makes homes more affordable, even though prices are up.
Right.
The monthly payment, because interest rates are so low, is keeping affordability exceptionally low.
Yeah, one other big headline I want to bring up, Tracy, and you're absolutely right, and we've talked about that. The affordability is a big deal. One other headline here is FHFA, which is kind of the group that's over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which handle all the government-backed mortgages. They've now extended the eviction moratorium for foreclosures through June 30th.
And that's for loans through Fannie and Freddie.
Correct. That's not conventional loans
not
or
all
other
loans.
type of loans. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if it's
so they've extended it through June 30th.
Yeah. I said conventional. Those would be anyway. So it's an interesting. We keep talking about and hearing about this foreclosure or forbearance overhang for people that haven't been able to make their payments since last year, and it just seems like we just kicking the can down the road. And I don't think that's. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in the sense that we're going to have time to get that worked through and get those homes on the market. Somebody told me the other, a statistician that works in the housing world, he put some data together and said if all those homes that were in forbearance right now came on the market immediately, which of course would never happen, in the U.S. we'd still only be at 5 months supply, which is still considered kind of a balanced, almost leaning toward a seller's market. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
What else was on your list? You wanted to get into the that neighborhood. I want to talk about very popular neighborhood in Albuquerque, right, Tracy?
Well, and it's not really a neighborhood; it's a school area. I started looking to do a school like take El Dorado High School or something, and I went, oh, that's too big of a sample. So I went to Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary School. So a couple of years ago, Tego, we had an example. We did a home buyer seminar to get people prepared for being home buyers, and we invited them to our office, and it was great. We went through the whole process with, like an audience. We brought in a lender and inspectors and insurance agents and things, and we went over the whole process. And the example somebody brought up, somebody said, hey, well, if I were looking in Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary School, which is where I'd like to live, tell me about that neighborhood and how to find a home there. And they wanted to buy a $200,000 house in Georgia O'Keeffe schools. This was a couple of years ago.
I'm going to say not today.
Well, even then.
Yeah.
So what we did is we showed them how MLS works. We did a search. We said, okay, here's this school district. We can search just by Georgia O'Keeffe.
Yeah.
And so we did a search and we went, there's one house for sale. So how many people do you think were waiting for that one house? Even then it was exceptionally competitive, right? Now today, I went to Georgia O'Keeffe just because I remembered that search, and I said, you've got to be ready, right? If you want to buy in that neighborhood, you need to make sure that you've got a strong local lender, that it's a real qualified letter, not a they have applied, but we haven't checked their credit or anything. And, be ready to make a decision quickly because there's going to be a lot of competition. So I looked at Georgia O'Keeffe, and the average price, let's see, I got to get to the screen.
I had the chart. I hid the chart from you. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay.
So of closed properties, right? There's been 208 in the past year. So I went back a full year. So it's, the market has changed during the past year, but the average sold price in Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary right now is $590,000 for the past year. And Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary, let's talk about the boundaries.
Yeah, that's exactly my next question. Perfect.
It's north of Spain, east of Eubank and Wantabo, where Wantabo kind of comes into Eubank. North as far as just on the north side of Tanawan, I think it's San Antonio. And then east to the foothills. So that encompasses neighborhoods like... taking my mouse.
Yeah, I need to let her
be the driver. Sorry, just funny.
Here. Yeah.
So the neighborhoods that it encompasses, right? So it's Tanawan and some of the different subsets of Tanawan.
Sure.
It's Pepper Tree, it's High Desert, and all the subsets in High Desert. So it actually kind of, even though Spain is sort of the boundary on the south edge, it does still cover all of High Desert. Antelope Run, Tanawan East, basically, and Prospectors Ridge. So all of those neighborhoods are a part of it. Right now on the market, there's, I think it was about 13 properties. Lowest price is $425,000, and it's a smaller, well, not really, it's 1,869 square foot in High Desert. And I looked at the photos. It looked great. I went, I could live there. There's also one for sale on Peachtree and one on Mimosa. They're both in Pepper Tree, I believe. But in any event, the average price of those homes in Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary right now is $996,000
for sale.
Of those for sale, because in High Desert we have a $2.2 million, a $1.8 million,
$2 million,
another $2 million. We've got 5 houses over $1 million.
So Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary in that area has always been a very popular part of town. Obviously, if you like the far northeast heights and that
totally.
living, that's it. And
And we have 21 in pending sale there. And the average days on market is 50 because some of those higher prices take a little longer. But when you look at the houses that were on the market from $350 up to $750, the average days on market is very low. It ranges from 0 days to 14 days.
Yeah.
So anything up to $750 in Georgia O'Keeffe is typically selling in less than 2 weeks and most likely less than 5 days. So it's kind of interesting. The other closed properties, I don't have them by price, but obviously, we've closed. Actually, they are by price. So $2 million.
Up to 2.2.
Up to 2.2.
Which was sold on our team.
Yep, we brought the buyer to that property. So interesting, I think that back when we did that seminar about 3 years ago, maybe not even 3 years ago, we thought we could find a 2 to 250, and think about today how hard that would be. So anyway, I think the thought is, Georgia O'Keeffe Elementary School is one subset of the far northeast heights of Albuquerque. But, if you want to buy in that area, we need to make sure we've got your financial plan in place, whether you're cash and how we're going to show that, and be ready to move pretty quickly on an offer. If a house comes up that's the right one, we need to go see it right away. So there's the snapshot of Georgia O'Keeffe. If there's a neighborhood that you want to know about, whether it's a neighborhood or a school area, we'd be happy to do a search for you and get that out to you via email. Just give us a ring, 448-8888. And we have a whole team of people that can answer that phone, so we'd be happy to help you.
Tracy, I want to take what you were just talking about and expand on this whole idea of this market where we have so few homes on the market. We have a lot of buyers waiting for homes. I want to give people that are looking for homes some tips and some things that they should be thinking about if they're looking for a home. Now, does it mean sitting on Zillow all night and refreshing your screen over and over and over again? Well, it might. I will tell you, though, that Zillow doesn't always get, instantaneous and updates. It's pretty quick, though. When
Zillow doesn't get coming soon properties, though.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So
That's a really good point,
it's not going
Tracy.
to show you things that are incoming soon.
Right. Well, so what I wanted to say is let's table coming soon for a second, because I think that's an important conversation. But what I'm talking about is, how do you know when that home comes on the market? What are you doing? What's your real estate agent doing to get you set up to know when that home comes on the market? And so what would you tell a buyer right now that's saying, I'm looking for a home, I'm just, what can they do?
Yeah, totally. I'd say commit to a great real estate agent. Have that agent set up a search. So when we set up a search in the multiple listing service, Tego, we as realtors have an option to say, how often are we going to send this search, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to send it to them twice a week? Are we going to hold them all and send them all at the end of the day? Or are we going to send them immediately when that property comes on the market? And it's interesting because we know someone searching for a home in Arizona.
Yeah.
And searches got set up, and they were set up to go on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And I laughed, and I was like, if you get a home on the market Tuesday afternoon after you got your weekly update, it's pending by Saturday. You have to get them set up so they come immediately, right?
It's too late. So that's an important tip if you are searching for homes. Get your real estate agent to set up the search so that you are getting them immediately. You can get an email. Sometimes it's a push notification,
a text
or whatever it is.
We need to get them immediately.
Let's talk about coming soon properties, because that's kind of a confusion for people. People will hear, oh, there's a home for sale. It's coming soon, but I can't find it anywhere. Explain that for Tracy.
Coming soon is
Tracy. Explain it for everybody.
Of course, I wasn't listening. I just was ready to talk.
I know.
So coming soon is a status that we have in our multiple listing service. And it means, hey, this house is not quite ready to view yet, but we want the realtor community to know that this house is going to be coming. So if you're looking this weekend and you have to make a decision on a house that's maybe not perfect, you might also know this one is in the hopper, right?
Yeah.
So it's as realtors, once we put them in coming soon, we can see them, but they don't go out to places like Zillow. But if you set up a search and you have your agent set up a search of homes for you, you can include coming soon as one of the options so that you can get notified about them. You just won't find them on public websites.
Yeah.
Only through us realtors. So,
yeah.
So let's talk about open houses. I'm afraid we always run out of time, and we get on stats.
So fast, stats.
I love open houses and homes of the week and those types of things.
Sure,
so if
Tracy.
we could do that real quick.
Yeah, we have.
I need to run the mouse.
It's really interesting. Last week I had Damon Maddox on from Maddox Management. We were talking about some of the bills before the New Mexico legislature right now. And I just want to give an update if you guys caught that. HB 111, it had to do with the renter, basically Tenant-Landlord Relations Act, and how that would could really affect landlords in particular. Landlord and actually tenants as well, long term. Just the update is it's still in committee. It's still sitting there. They're supposedly revising it, but I don't know. Maybe the more it just kind of hangs out and doesn't do anything, the better, because it's got a lot of holes in it that I feel personally create a lot of problems for the whole renting of properties. So anyway, I just wanted to give that update. Okay, so, Tracy, homes of the week or homes of open houses of the week. Yeah.
So we have 2 open houses in the Northeast Heights, and one is at 7700 Republic, 11 to 1 Saturday. It's amazing. It's been completely remodeled. I saw the photos of it. What a beautiful home. So 7700
Popular
Republic.
Northeast Heights area.
Northeast.
And what's that one listed for, Tracy?
That one is 3.
You're on the wrong screen.
312-500.
Yeah.
So 312-500, that's going to be hosted by Addie Sambandam.
Yep.
And Addie will be there. 312,000. So that one, Republic is close to Paseo and Wyoming, Ventura.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of schools and things, we're kind of right up in that area.
Yeah, it is La Cueva High School District, and it's Dennis Chavez Elementary up there.
There we go. So the other one, 9517 Presley, which is also Northeast Albuquerque 87111, listed for $285,000. It's 1,650-ish square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Open house from 1 to 3 today, Saturday.
Yep.
So
you know what's interesting about this one, Tracy, when I was looking at the photos and the floor plan and everything, is that for this era of homes, it's actually very open floor plan, but exactly how a lot of the new homes are built now, where your living, your kitchen, your dining, everything kind of blends together.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And again, that one was, what was the address? That was
so 9517 Presley, and it's actually open from Saturday 1 to 3 and Sunday 10 to 12.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Couple opportunities.
Saturday and Sunday.
It'll be gone this weekend.
One more newly listed on the market, Bryan Northwest, Bryan, Bryan. Is from 11 to 1. And Bryan is in the knolls of Paradise Hills. So it's behind the Target off of Coors and Irving. And Bryan is listed for $420,000. It's a gorgeous 2-story, 2,740-ish square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage. It's going to be open Saturday and Sunday. Saturday from 11 to 1 and Sunday from 10 to 12. So we're happy to have you go through those, with the whole being able to do open houses in person. We're still watching and monitoring how many people are in a house at a time. And there'll be a sign out front at all of these houses just saying, hey, give us a call or text us.
Sure.
I'm the agent inside, and I'll let you know if it's okay to come in, or I'll text you when we have the right number of people in the house again, so that it's very obvious of how to handle an open house.
Yeah.
And be safe. So we have also others coming and other new listings. So if you want the latest and greatest and want to connect with us, we can keep you in the loop. We're at 448-8888. That's the best way to reach us. Venturi Realty Group of Keller Williams Realty.
Great, Tracy. I want to talk about tax benefits of homeownership. We talk about the benefits of homeownership in general all the time, correct, Tracy? So we talk about obviously the financial issues and some of the
we talk about the more loving, kind, fun things about it,
right? Absolutely.
Making it your own and painting your room and having your family memories there. But
being
tax
part of a
benefits.
community and then the financial part, obviously the forced savings every month. You're paying down your principal, so that's a forced savings. And then there's obviously equity gain as over time as home prices appreciate.
So we're going to talk about tax benefits, and we are not tax accountants. We're not tax advisors, but we know there are certain benefits, right?
Oh, there absolutely is. And I'll tell you what, and I'll tell you, just if you want to see this story, it's a Realtor.com story they put out, really well done. If you just search 7 tax benefits of owning a home.
And it's from February of 2021, so it's very current information.
And again, it's at Realtor.com, so just look for that. I'm sure it'll come up on the first page of your searches. So the first one I think is the most obvious, is most people recognize is the mortgage interest deduction.
Right.
So you can deduct most of your interest that you pay on your mortgage, and that could add up to quite a bit. And all of these, we got to say, there's always some reason that maybe you don't qualify. Again, talk to your accountant. I don't know how many times we're going to say that,
right? But
that's the big one that is got a huge advantage for people. One that's a little bit, I don't want to say if it's not lesser well known is your property taxes. If you itemize, you can deduct your property taxes. But not everybody itemizes. So if you take a standard deduction, again, not an accountant here, you don't.
We don't have to say that anymore.
I know. I'm going to
We've
say it
said
over and
enough.
over. Okay, fine. Private mortgage. So anyway, taxes can be deducted. Private mortgage insurance. So if you purchase a home, Tracy, and you don't put a 20% down, the lender's going to want you to take out insurance on that. And so it's private mortgage insurance. A lot of different versions of it. But that also can be deductible, and that could be a big one.
Right.
The number 4 on this list was energy efficient upgrades. This one's a little bit tougher, and it's been getting tougher. I know in New Mexico there used to be some really great advantages in incentives for solar and other energy efficient stuff, but it's not quite as great anymore. They are out there, and so look for those if you have those types of things. Here's the big one, Tracy, this year of 2020. Guess what it is?
A home office.
A home office.
Space that you use within your home as your office. Yeah. Maximum deduction of $1,500, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You just have to calculate how much space of your square footage you're using for your home office and how often and how many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to your accountant about it, because there may be some tax savings there for you that you may not even have thought of. Like us, Tracy, we've been working in our home office and our work office for many years. People that are self-employed are used to that. But people that are new to this in 2020 may not know. So look for that. This one I had no idea even existed, Tracy. I didn't even know it was a thing.
I didn't either.
And it's number 6 on this list is home improvements to age in place. So if you need to do some things on the home to make it for older homeowners.
Or handicapped, not necessarily older. So things like wheelchair ramps, grab bars in bathrooms, shower accommodations versus tubs, those types of things. Yeah. I don't know, widening hallways, widening doorways, I suppose, if you're actually in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but, interesting. I didn't know that was one, and look at that. We learned something.
And number 7.
Yeah, your HELOC interest.
Interest on a home equity line of credit. HELOC.
I know. I was getting there. But yes, so your home equity. So if you take out a home equity line of credit, so that's basically borrowing against your equity in the home. And if you use it toward home upgrades, many times that can be deducted. So again, check with your accountant on all of these things. But I thought it was an interesting list, Tracy.
It is. More than I would have thought. When you told me it was 7, I thought, I can't think of more than about 4. So there you go.
My gosh, we have so much to cover. And I think the one I want to hit on this, because I'm getting this a question a lot from other realtors, and people just know that I watch all this stuff, is how come we have so few homes on the market? And we do. We have a historically low level of homes available to purchase, inventory, whatever you want to call it. And if you look back over the years, we were going to have a low supply of homes this year anyway. Tracy, I pulled up that stat from the Fed that does economic research, and it shows you the number of housing starts. And if you look at it from 1980s all the way up until today, there was really steady through the 80s and 90s, the 2000s, up until 2008, and then all of a sudden it just fell off the cliff.
I sure wish our listeners could see this chart.
I know.
Because what you see is in 2006, housing building permits were, like 5 times, 7 times more than we've had over the last 10 years or 15 years, really.
So what's happened is we just haven't been building as many homes as the supply or the demand.
We got
needed.
behind.
We got behind. And we're behind. The other thing that we're behind on is if you look at the chart, and I've got another chart, but I obviously we're radio, so I'll just explain it. But if you look at the chart of number of homes, and this is just Albuquerque, number of homes coming on the market annually, and the ebb and flow of that, right? We always get that big buildup in early summer, March, April, May.
Then June,
right?
July.
In June, that's usually when we get the this big influx of people putting their homes on the market. Of course, what happened in 2020? March, April, May.
They didn't come on the market.
The market.
People could not move around.
So we're still catching up from that.
Right.
And so that's part of it as well. I suspect that as we come into the early spring, that we're going to see more homes coming on the market definitely than last year, and that should help loosen that up. And if you are thinking of selling, Tracy, how do they get a hold of us? Because they need to think about it now.
That's right. It does take time. 448-8888. Always happy to be here on Saturday, Eddie. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you
on
for the
your show.
opportunity, and thanks for making all this great listening possible, and thanks for doing what you do. You have a wonderful daughter who I had the opportunity to talk with recently, and she tells me how much you both enjoy the radio and enjoy promoting what you're doing, and how much you care about your clients. And I got to tell you, I know I feel that way, and many of the people that you worked with also feel the exact same way. So thank you both for being the real estate experts here in the Albuquerque market.
Thanks, Eddie.
Happy to do it.
Happy to do it.
All right, back after a quick break.